This is the G Podcast with your host, Tonya B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 230 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. We are back. Tonya B's in the building. Via the Country Commentator is here.
Yeah.
Bob, and you know, Vi, I got to say this just real quick because I said I would acknowledge it this week, man. Kirby came back during the press conference in Dallas, and he did say that the collective, which pays the players their NIL money, are fining. They are fining the guys now for these incidents. And one other thing that I thought he said that he hadn't acknowledged strongly in most of these press conferences is the fact that he acknowledged that there's a problem and he's disappointed and it requires attention. So, you know, with that said, it's not done, but I think he's acknowledging and admitting that there's a problem. Don't you? I mean, would you not agree, Vi?
I know it's a problem, whether he admitted it or not. Whether he admitted it or not, we all knew it was a problem.
Right, but did you not think it was right for the head coach of the program to say we got a problem?
Well, he had no choice because it was his time to be on the mic, and them ignorant guys put him on the spot.
What
they
ignorant?
Put him on the spot.
Who's ignorant?
The football player who's out here racing in
I
cars.
thought you were going to say the press for asking.
No, the football guys.
Yeah, you're right.
If they did that, and he was speaking, everybody knew he was speaking that week.
Yeah,
you knew the press going to ask him about it.
Yeah.
Like one guy said, you got a kid driving a Porsche. I said, a Porsche?
Yeah.
What that boy doing driving a Porsche?
Well, they get that kind of money. If you got nothing else to pay for,
you get that kind of money. You drive him. He is driving a Porsche.
Well, keep in mind, Shador, even though his dad's got money, he was driving a Rolls Royce.
No, not Tisa got a Tesla. He got a Tesla truck now.
Who's this?
Oh, his son got a Tesla truck.
Yeah, they got money.
Before they even really came out, he had that old ugly truck.
Yeah. All right, man. I just wanted to say that before we got moving, just to kind of recap from last week, just to get back in there and, you know, do my due diligence. All right. Talib Shabazz is in the building. Talib. Anything that we got to clean up from last week, Talib, for you?
Nah, man, I think I'm good for this week. I'm just glad to be here, you know.
Good, man. And we are glad you are here, brother. We are glad you are here. You know, each week we do news, politics, pop culture, and that piping hot tea from the one and only Tonya B, and that's coming up. But, you know, before we get into it, man, our condolences to the state of Texas, man, and to Houston, the family, the constituents of Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. As we tape today, she passed yesterday, the day before. She was 74 after battle. She just mentioned the fact that she had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she served over 30 years. And I will remember her for the push for study of reparations more than anything, because she was the one, even though they couldn't get it done, just the study. I'm glad that she, you know, at least tried to get that done. So rest in power. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, you will be missed for your voice. Okay? All right, y'all. So between now and November, y'all, on this show, there will never be a dull week, I think. So let's just go ahead and admit that. This week is no exception. And let's go ahead and I want to go ahead and get this conversation started with this.
Former president was shot. An American citizen killed while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We must not go down this road in America.
In that speech from the Oval Office, the president stressed that we need to lower the temperature in American politics. Mr. Trump's campaign says he's doing fine after being wounded and will attend the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee this week. He arrived Sunday night. Now, we still don't know much about the shooter, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. We do know that he was a registered Republican. We also know that the gun used in the shooting was purchased legally by Crooks' father. Multiple reports say the shooter had explosives in his car and at his residence. A local police officer apparently encountered the gunman. Some people at the rally also warned police about someone on the roof of a building nearby. That person pointed a rifle at an officer who also headed to the roof. As the officer retreated, Crooks then fired at Trump. A Secret Service sniper quickly fired at the shooter, killing him.
Hey, I want to go to you, Talib, first, and just get your thoughts. on how this went down at the beginning of the week. Because as you know, again, we taped before the incident, even though we acknowledge the fact that it did happen in the final version of the show. But your thoughts, Talib?
I thought we were going to come back.
Come back.
Tape a new show, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I thought about it, but honestly, I thought about doing it, but the reason I didn't, there was so much stuff still coming out.
Yeah.
Wasn't much we could say. Except with Jack Black's partner.
I didn't hear about that.
I'll tell you
had something to say? Okay.
Well, let me say this. What he said ended their tour. I'll just leave it at that. So, was it Tenacious D will not be touring because of what he said? I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Well, you know, my initial thoughts on this was, what kind of steam did Trump cook up now in order to make himself look like, you know, he could be the best thing since sliced bread? There were a lot of thoughts running through my head, basically. Number one was, you know, this has to be staged, because I couldn't believe that the Secret Service would actually allow somebody to get within 150 yards of the president with a rifle, you know. There was, you know, but again, of course, you know, that, and then but I was like, okay, if that's the case, then he's got to be, you know, that means that Trump is, you know, Dusty Rhodes now, you know, ducking down to cut his ear and then coming back up on my face like an old wrestling move, you know.
Dude, the memes, you know how they used to the blood packet memes,
right?
From,
you know,
it was ridiculous. Yeah,
but you know, what you say, Vi? Go ahead.
Then he said at the convention, or what? Well, not one of the conventions, he had the patch on the wrong ear.
Oh, wow.
All I know is that
we cannot confirm or deny.
And no one is trying to explain that. They said no one is trying to explain that. I'm going, really?
So, you know, I just think this is, you know, after it, you know, details and everything started coming out about this, you know, I was just like, what could have been done? I couldn't have written this any better. You know, if I was on Trump's team, I couldn't have written this any better, because everybody knows, you know, the legacy of Tupac and 50 Cent. So you get shot and all of a sudden your stock goes up, you know, and here we are with Trump trying to appeal to black voters again, you know, like, well, people should, you know, they should be more sympathetic to Trump now because Trump has been shot. You know, and pundits are actually coming out making statements like this. I think it was a total. It was. I don't wish death on anyone.
Yeah.
Although Trump, you know, I wouldn't mind it if Trump got hurt a little. And you know,
he said hurt, y'all.
Yeah, just hurt. I don't want him dead, but you know, he needs. Yeah, there's a certain amount of karma that everyone is entitled to. And his is definitely stacking up.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think, and I'll get to my part because I do want to go to Vi, and just kind of, you know, step in with that statement. I think in a lot of cases when situations happen to politicians, it makes them more empathetic toward some of the things that just the general public has to deal with when it comes down to gun violence. Right. You know what I mean? If you've been attacked, just like Steve Scalise and a lot of the, you know, if you recall the softball game, the attack, when they're attacked, it makes them a bit more thoughtful when it comes down to
You would think it would
change
the
gun legislation.
And really, that was going to be my last thing that I said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was that
go ahead. Go there.
You know, it's funny to me how, you know, Trump comes out with his speech.
Yeah.
And the first half of his speech, you know, is really kind of reflective. It's, you know, it's getting, you know, people in the audience, you know, teary-eyed. You know, I was like, okay, this, you know, this might be a kind of gentler Trump. And then, true to form, the second half, if it didn't put you to sleep, it probably made you mad, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, okay, nothing is going to save this guy from himself. He's going to be his own worst enemy. And what I feel now is that whatever little bit of lead Trump may have had going into this because of the shooting, it's starting to wane because we realize that Mr. Meanderer is back, or never left, Yeah. So
I'm gonna go to you, Vi. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I don't want to say it's staged. It's just hard for me to believe that Trump got that much courage to get shot at and get up and pump his fist.
When you're supposed to be behind the Secret Service so that you don't get hit again.
No lie, man. Y'all sound like 90% of the people I talked to this week. I mean, everybody kept saying.
No one does that. You get out of there. He stands up and pump his fist. I'm going, really?
Mouthing fight.
Why aren't you trying to leave?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing that I was asking people, hey, I'd love your opinion on, the whole situation and how you feel, what's the state of the country. And that's the first thing people would go to, man. I think it's staged. I really think, the timing and I said, wow, you think that? You really do? You believe that?
It's hard for me to believe that he would go that far, but I think he's capable of doing that.
Okay.
Well, I like to say I don't think it was staged, but I can believe it was staged.
Okay.
Because I would hate to say he went that far, but Trump's a coward. No coward is going to jump up in front of being shot at. And this guy was shot at, and he shot several, but if it ever came out that it was staged, his campaign would be ruined.
Of course.
But I'm sure they took if it was staged, they'd made sure that
they killed the only witness.
They don't get out.
I got to say, the witness, the actual shooter's dead. But I will say this, man, Trump will do anything for money. That's my opinion. If there was enough money on the line and there was a quote unquote guarantee that he would be okay, then I believe that there's a possibility in that. Okay, I wouldn't put it past him because money is everything.
And Biden waiting too late to do all these changes everybody tried to do. Change my Supreme Court. Now you want to do something when you going out the door? Yeah. It's weak now. It's weak. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm
going to time to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in real quick, and we're gonna get to that. So hang on, we're gonna get to some of the stuff about Biden, but I got to say this, and just to preface what I'm about to say, no matter who's the target, it's never a good moment when people die. Okay?
It's not.
It's never a good moment when somebody is when there was an attempt to kill somebody.
No,
if indeed it was a time to kill. Okay.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong. I don't believe about it whatsoever. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, this is not a sitcom. It's not a movie. It's reality. But the unfortunate thing is, Trump and his people really make it feel like it's a sitcom and it's a reality show. And I think that's why a lot of people are, a lot of people are skeptical because this whole thing feels like a reality show. It feels like, there's a producer behind the scenes and a script writer. Okay. But my whole thing is I hear people debating about the Secret Service. In my opinion, you're military, okay, and I think the Secret Service is kind of like built by or kind of modeled on that whole military perspective. If somebody gets shot, your job is lost. That's just why are we debating this? I mean, the head of the Secret Service needs to go. There's been problems with the Secret Service going back to Obama. Even if y'all recall, when the Secret Service used to be sneaking out at night, sneaking hookers in, doing all that. And I think they've cleaned up a lot, but still there's a problem. And no matter whether it's a female or male, it happened on your watch. You were in charge. Some stupid shit happened where a gunman goes on top of a roof and you don't have someone at each building. No, there's no way to clean this up. You had one job to do to protect the president, and you didn't do it well. So there you go. Okay. Vi, you held your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Secret Service let that guy get up there. Because sometimes I wonder, did Trump know? Because the police told Trump and Secret Service that they didn't have the manpower to cover that building.
Well, let me say this, Vi. With that being said, it's ultimately the Secret Service's overall duty to protect the president. But regardless, let me say this, and I'll give it back to you because it's my time. You know, what did she say? My favorite person out in California. I'm reclaiming my time. I gotta say that the Secret Service is ultimately responsible for the president. So whatever it takes, if it means overriding the local people, they are responsible, and that's just the nature of the job. I mean, it's not about, this is not an accounting job. This is about saving a life, and that life happens to be the president. He got shot, blood was seen, and you got to go. That's it. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's your job. It's like did you ever watch Clint Eastwood in that movie where guys quit because they can't if they screw up as a Secret Service agent, they don't even want to be involved in it anymore. They failed, so it's a failure. Okay, but I do want to say this. I will say we have to get away from this talk where it comes down to we're better than this, and you heard all that right after the shooting. This is not America. Wait a minute, where y'all been? That's all I could say to myself. Where have y'all been? Did you not see Uvalde? Did you not see the shooting in Buffalo? Do you not remember Sandy Hook? It was just amazing to me that all of a sudden politicians start waking up and saying when something happens to them, I can't believe America is this violent. America's a violent country. It has been. Do anybody disagree with that statement? That's not a condemnation.
Oh, no.
That's not a condemnation, but you got open carry. You got people everywhere, even with their convention, the RNC. Wisconsin is a open carry. I mean, they were concerned about the open carry laws outside of the RNC because everybody could walk around the building with a gun. They had to go get special permission to have, because people could walk up and say, "Hey, I got a gun," but they had to go out and get special permission to even police the outside of the building. Okay, they had to get waivers for that. So I don't know. I don't understand after all this gun legislation. This, when I say liberal, I mean, anybody can own a gun. The kid could have been walking around with a rifle on his back through downtown, and he would have had a legal right to do it. The gun was legal. He was of legal age. His dad bought it for him. So, we got to get away from this talk about, hey, America's not, this is not America. No, y'all just have a problem you refuse to help solve. That's the way I look at it. So I'll go. If you had something else to say to close.
I mean, they only can do their job. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they told Donald Trump that they don't have enough people to cover him and they can't cover that building, he's at risk, and Trump said, "I don't care, I'm going to do this anyway." So because he can't override you. If he said, "I'm going to do it anyway," and you tell him what's going up and they refuse, then that's really not on them. And they're not going to tell you he said that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the cops told the Secret Service that they don't have enough people to cover that building that he was on. They have enough people to get on. They don't have enough people to get on that roof.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and did it anyway. I would like to believe. I'm pretty sure Trump. The people told him we don't care. We're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. We're not going to stop this convention. I'm pretty sure Secretary probably said we don't have enough people for this. Because the cops said they cannot help us in getting you fully covered. They cannot cover that building.
Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to stop you there.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say, this week, I guarantee you, within the next couple of weeks, that head of the Secret Service is going to be gone.
Oh yeah,
that's my prediction.
Did you see the Republicans chasing after her during the RNC?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say by the end, and that's not a Republican or this is a bipartisan thing. Whenever something happens, somebody got to take the L.
Right.
And I think she's going to be the fall. She's going to be the scapegoat.
Definitely.
That's just the nature of the job. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the head of Secret Service. I wouldn't want it. Okay. I mean, Anyway, let's go ahead. And, of course, this happened this week.
President Biden has tested positive for COVID. He's now off the campaign trail and has returned to his home in Delaware to self-isolate.
And even though the man got COVID, time to go, Joe, just kept on coming. Here we go.
President Biden has insisted that he is not dropping out of the presidential race. But Thursday has been filled with a number of reports that he is now more open to hearing why he should. He is currently off the campaign trail self-isolating due to a positive COVID test. The president has reportedly started asking questions about negative polling data and whether the vice president, Kamala Harris, fares better. Wednesday, California Congressman and U.S. Senate candidate Adam Schiff became the best-known Democratic lawmaker to say it's time for Mr. Biden to step aside. The calls had quieted in recent days following the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. That public quiet did not stop the behind-the-scenes concerns by many Democrats. Schiff says President Biden can't beat former President Trump. Several media outlets are reporting that former President Barack Obama has told close allies that Mr. Biden should reconsider the viability of his campaign.
All right, Ivan, I'm going to go to you, Mr. Riding with Biden. I'm going to start with you first, okay? What do you think when you hear about Obama? And I don't say that viciously, Vi. I mean, that's just the way, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I understand, and I understand the logic. But what I'm asking you is, what do you think about what Schiff? Well, Schiff's, he's in a fierce Senate race. And the other thing, what do you think about Obama, based on what he said, based on what he's doing?
I think I like the way Obama do it. If you're going to do it, I mean, don't get on the radio and announce it to the world. Tell somebody. Try to do it behind closed doors. Don't get out there and get on the radio and put on news. He should resign. No. Kind of push him that way and leave it up to him. But tell him. And the way it goes right now, I'm with you. He probably need to resign because there's too many people in his party asking to resign. Even though I disagree with what they're doing. But if you got that many people jumping off the ship, you might as well just resign. Because they're not all in it. They don't believe in you anymore. Your own party don't believe in you, so why? Why put your family through that?
I'm hearing people, even from the Congressional Black Caucus, are starting to jump off, and the Hispanic caucus. Yeah.
He got too many people going against him now, so why? Why put your family through that? Especially your health, sir. I mean, why put your health, your family against all this? If that many people in your party want you to step down. So, well, fuck it. I step down. Is that what y'all want?
Can I say this, Bob, before you close? I don't think it's about, and I'm just going to be candid. I don't think people give a damn about his health or whether or not he can make it health-wise. I think they're looking at the polls. All people care about is one thing.
The polls.
Whether or not, and no, they care about whether or not he can beat Trump. And that's the one thing that he's failing. They don't care. They're saying, oh, we're concerned about your age. But what they're really concerned about, if people on the side really pull quietly, closed doors, they're looking at one thing. Can you beat Trump? That's all they really care about. And I'll say that. Hey, real quick, Vi. I'm gonna go to Talib. Go ahead, Talib. Your thoughts.
Well, I can kind of see things from two different sides in this particular argument.
Yeah.
I think that, it's unfortunate that these 35 senators and Congress people are coming out now, really calling for Biden to step down in the manner that they are, but they have to, because all seats are up this election period. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they're, from what I can remember reading, pretty much all Senate seats and all Congress seats or House of Representatives seats are also up for election at this particular time. Yeah. Which means that if Biden is not doing well, then the trickle down starts to happen. So, and they don't want none of these other people want to get caught up in Biden's loss.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. We're looking at, Biden kind of being thrown under the bus. I'm not a Biden fan, so I'm not going to sit here and try and make it seem like, I want, I'm feeling bad for this guy after all this time, because I'm not. But the thing is that it is, this election cycle, more than anything, has been an expose. It's been an expose in how we, these alliances really are. There aren't really friends up here on Capitol Hill anymore. Those people don't, they don't play nice together.
Yeah, I agree.
So
it's Survivor Island.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And so that's one thing that it's exposed. It's exposed the fact that, Trump is a megalomaniac, and he's, satisfied with, as long as his agenda is getting taken care of, then there's very little concern about anything else. It has exposed the way that the American people are being lied to.
Yeah.
And propagandized, and how this propaganda really plays out in the everyday world. I mean, that just goes to show, because people are literally putting bandages on their ear to show support for Trump, which is dumb. Like, why are you sitting there with a piece of loose leaf paper on your ear? You couldn't even get like a real Band-Aid? You know what I mean? It's just, there, like I said, it to me, and I'm not going into all the things that this election cycle has exposed, but this is not what I thought it was going to be when I was taking civics class.
Okay.
This is not what I was taught.
I'm gonna stop you there. Vi, did you have one more thing to say before I go?
Two things I want to. I'm really, what makes me mad about all this whole process going on.
Yeah.
I'm mad at the Democratic. They had 4 years to find a legitimate president to run for president. 4 years to find someone.
Mm-hmm.
Now y'all wait till the process almost over. Now y'all just want to name someone. Y'all not even giving us a chance to vote for somebody we might want. Y'all just want to name somebody.
Okay, that's number one. What's number two?
That's number one. And number two, I'm just pissed at everything. The whole process. Who do they think can beat
Number
Trump
one and
now?
number two, I'm pissed.
My thing is, who do they think can beat Trump? Do we have a viable candidate that we think can actually win the election?
Here's the deal. Let me say this, and I'm gonna go to my part. Okay, I'm gonna weigh in. Okay, now I'm the only one who believes this. I think on the panel, I like this process. I mean, I'm happy that it's happening. If I don't jump in, I understand. I believe one thing that Talib said when we were talking about the process, and when Talib was all up on what's the bandwagon you were on?
Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her full
Michelle
name?
Williamson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When Talib was pushing Williamson for president, but I believe in that process. I think even though, one of the things that, Biden had mentioned when he ran for president was that he was it was a transitional presidency. And even when it was interesting, I started doing some social media when they first won, and I put in my social media, Biden-Harris 2024, and some guy shot back, man, you got to be fucking out of your mind. Do you know how old Biden is? Because people had already been thinking that in 2020. Right. So I like the process because it could, in my opinion, Vi, I think it could improve the party. Because I do think there's so much room for improvement with the Democratic Party. And one big thanks to, one of our followers, Michelle. She brought something to my attention. And let me mention that. Keep an open mind about this. One thing that's being floated is, if it does come down to Kamala taking over, Kamala Harris and Democratic Senator Mark Kelly. If you don't know Mark Kelly, he flew combat missions during the Gulf War. He's from Arizona, by the way. He flew the combat missions. He was a NASA space shuttle. He's a twin. If you've ever seen, his brother does the same thing. He's moderate. He appeals to swing voters. Again, Arizona's a swing state. Yeah. He's married to Representative Gabby Giffords. If you recall, back in 2011, when she was shot, political violence. So he understands it. It's in his family. So when Trump starts talking about the fact that he's a victim of political violence, he can step in and say, look, my family, I have had to witness my wife rehabilitating to the fact that she can now still speak, but nowhere near where she could speak. She can't, he can speak to the impact of political violence on his family, and his parents were former police officers. So I do think when it comes down to it, putting Kamala Harris, because the polls do show, even though, again, none of these guys, Trump, Biden, or Harris, have great likability scores when it comes down to, when we do the approval scores. But when it comes down to head-to-head, if we got to go head-to-head, then this is what you see. Okay, the head-to-head battle, at least she's in the game. Okay, so, and he's only 60, okay, so he's 60 years old. Kamala, 50-something in her mid to late 50s, so we're talking about at least a Gen X and a borderline, Boomer X. So I think that does youth in the party a bit, and it does, let me say this about J.D. Vance, waste of time in my opinion.
Yes.
The only reason Trump chose J.D. Vance was because of the fact that he's tight with Peter Thiel from Penn. What is it? What's the financial platform? PayPal. They're buddy, and he's real tight with the conservative Silicon Valley people. They've already pledged a ton of money. They got a ton of money.
And
so
what, 2025 initiative? Yeah,
but more than anything, it's about the money. I think
J.D.
Vance is in there because he's, he's married to, a brown woman. But I'll leave that alone. Yeah. But that's my thing. I think I'm not disappointed by what's happening. The convention is August 19th, in my opinion. They've got, I think they've got, we're looking at a month from as we're taping to get this right. And if they go into the convention organized with a plan, they keep it on track. And if they can do that and show the type of unity that the Republicans showed at this, whatever you want to call it, I call it WWE, because you had Hulk Hogan, Dana White, Chris Rock, what's his name? Not Chris Rock, but Kid Rock. Mm-hmm. It felt like I was watching Friday WWE. But if they can go in with a plan, entertain people, I think they can come out of this okay. That's my thought. I think they can come out of this okay. But here's the thing, man. I got to say this, Vi. Trump has changed the game when it comes down to traditional politics. And we have to admit that. Yeah. It's no longer this traditional, even though, like people like Bernie Sanders want to go back to that traditional, boring. That's over. That's done. It's going to take a while to get back to that. So if we want to play, well, I'm saying we, if the, Democrats want to play traditional and boring, they're going to lose. Okay? They're going to lose. So I think we're going to have to think, you got to think differently. I mean, you got to go in with a different mindset, different approach, different presentation. This old presentation, it ain't going to work. I think that's why people see through it. I'm going to go to you, Talib. You're shaking your head.
I got so much that I want to say, I can't even think right now.
Well, just give me one. That's okay. All right, last thought on this. I do want to play this
okay,
before.
So,
let's do this before we go.
Yeah.
I do want to play. Let me see if I can get it here. This was the last thing about Trump.
If you were looking for a different Donald Trump Thursday night, you got him for at least the first part of his speech. It was then back to the Trump most supporters and detractors remember. Mr. Trump talked about the attempt on his life and said he wouldn't talk about it again.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
The speech was over 90 minutes long, longer than any other convention acceptance speech by a party's nominee. Trump used his speech to cover many familiar topics, including the border and inflation.
Our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled.
Very little of the speech dealt with unity as anticipated.
And very little of the speech was factual. So I'm going to leave it at that. One last thing, Vi. You got just one last note, and then we got to move on to your one big thing. Okay? Go ahead. Just one quick.
On the election?
Close. Yeah, you got one. You got one thing.
I just hope they know what they're doing. I don't believe it. I don't think they know what they're doing, but I just hope I am so wrong on this.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're doing what we have to do because we have no choice right now.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I go back to the fact that the game has changed. I mean, I don't know. Do you agree or disagree, Vi? I mean, Talib, do you think the game has changed?
The game has totally changed. It's definitely nothing is as it was, and that's okay. But what that means is that anybody on the old guard is going to have to catch up.
Yeah, so true.
You know, and
so true.
that I just don't see that happening in the near future because these people are really stuck on that fake decorum. You know, the gentleman from Wisconsin, or you know what I mean. It's like I'm not saying that that respect should not be given.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that this is a whole new way of getting down to the nitty gritty, and people gonna have to jump on board.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Vi, what's your one big thing for the week?
It's a sad thing that you can take America down with a Microsoft glitch.
You absolutely. Hey, man. Hey, Vi, you want me to play the clip? This is sad,
Play the clip.
You want to hear the clip?
Okay.
There was a huge worldwide computer problem impacting the airlines, banks, hospitals, media outlets, telephone companies, and other businesses Friday morning. An update by cybersecurity company CrowdStrike led to the major IT outage. CrowdStrike CEO says the issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed. There were worldwide flight delays, and you may have experienced issues with bank transactions as well. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta was among the airports reporting that flights were grounded. Some got back in the air hours later. Delta, American Airlines, ADT Security, Visa, and Amazon are just a few of the impacted businesses. The outage was caused by a defect that impacted the Microsoft Windows operating system. Mac and Linux users were not affected.
Mac. Go ahead, Mac. That's all I got to say. Go ahead, finish up. I just wanted to make sure drop that in there. Thank you, Syracuse Mike. You're right, Vi. I think, but you know, dates kind of scares me. You know, and has I'm a primary Mac user, but I've had to shift some things away from Mac in order to use some of the podcasting stuff right now because Mac is still kind of, I hate to say proprietary, but I'll say that I agree with you 100% Vi. But you know, I think people, what's the movie, Leave the World Behind? I think a lot of folks watched that on Netflix, and they were like, "Oh shit, it's happening, it's going down." You know,
it's scary. It's so bad. My boss said, "You go home, you want to?" Because I couldn't do no work.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Since I couldn't get on the computer, there was no work for me to do. I said, "Wow." So we can just cripple America. We with a Microsoft glitch.
But that's the next war, in my opinion. The next warfare, international World War III, will be much more technical.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Than it will be atomic.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's going to there's going to be much more of this type of warfare because you can shut the world. You know, you saw it. We got a sample of it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to you, Talib. One big thing.
What is going on with all these white women teachers having sex with their students? Now we got another one in the news this week. A police chief's wife accused of molesting teen while working as substitute teacher demands parent pay for having to defend herself from lawsuit. So in this instance, in the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office in Oklahoma, there was the wife of the local police chief and the daughter of the local mayor faces an upcoming trial in October for alleged sex offenses against a 15-year-old male student. But as of late June, she was hit with another legal threat, a civil lawsuit, excuse me, filed by the boy's father. And she's, in the article is claiming that this woman is now saying that the parent should have to pay for her because she's going to be defending herself in this case.
Well, you know what? I go back to Sally Jesse Raphael and Phil Donahue, the panels on Phil Donahue. It's just been going on for a long time, man.
Been going on for a while.
It's been going on for a long time. I guess the question you should ask is, why is it still happening?
Well, yeah. Really,
but we know
the attraction, the attraction to me is
that's crazy.
Why is there an attraction from a 20-something, 30-something-year-old woman to someone who's definitely under 18?
I don't know, dude.
Especially when you're married.
You don't check the personal boards.
Hey, look, I understand making simple romances. Yes, I get it.
I mean, all we got to do is pull up Phil Donahue. I just remember the teacher. Who was the teacher that married the student? One of them.
The Asian lady.
Yeah, I don't know if she was Asian or not.
It was a white woman that was with an Asian boy.
Yeah, I remember that was like Phil Donahue era. When back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So I just don't think it's gone
They're
away.
Still married, actually. I think I saw something a couple of years back, an article a couple of years back that was talking about they're still married and have other children now.
Well, I guess ultimately what it comes down to, how much of a deterrent is there? When it comes down to punishment. If you can marry one and and still not be fully punished, then somebody's gonna do it again. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it just goes again. It's something else that exposes what life in America is like right now. You know what I mean? People have no willpower. There is no self-control. People just do and say and be, and it's all good. There is very little accountability for actions now.
Yeah. All right, Vi, did you have? Well, you already gave your last thing. I'm just going to say I agree with both you guys, man. But and just for the sake of brevity, I do believe this situation that's going on in the Democratic Party, regardless. And we were, as we taped right before we came on, Biden released another big statement, said I'm not going anywhere. And it's interesting because, you hear all these rumors. It's almost like bots on. What do you call it, on X, on social media. Every rumor said that this weekend Biden was stepping down.
Right.
Every rumor. I mean, that started, Thursday, Friday. As we tape this on Saturday. We release it on Sunday. And there's so many rumors out there that, when he's stepping down, he is stepping down. It's definitely stepping down. I just don't think he's stepping down. I think ultimately it's going to get to the convention. I do believe that the process beyond the rumors and the innuendo and all that, it's going to come down to the numbers. And I don't see the numbers becoming like great. But let me say this, y'all, and I want to end it on this note. He's within the margin of error. You understand what I'm saying? Overall. Issues in the swing states with some states, but even within the swing states, he's still within 2 points if he's down. So that, a lot of cases that's within the margin of error. So, we'll just have to let the process play out. It's nerve-wracking for a lot of people, but honestly, it is what it is. I told people again and again, hey, this is what it is. Encouraging people to vote. I just don't think this does much for the youth vote. I don't think there's anything motivating the youth. They're going to have to do better to get at least, and I'm even talking about the millennials. Gen Z, who knows? But at least if you can get the millennials to be motivated, which I don't see that happening as much, that's got to happen. It's got to happen. Okay. Love your feedback, and I'm going to play some feedback at the end of the show that I've gotten on some of this. You can go to Castropolis.net. There's the people poll there. If you have a comment, feedback, love it. Some of y'all just text me and call me all week, and that's cool because definitely I appreciate it because it helps me plan this show. But you can also leave a voice message. That's cool. I appreciate it. Again, thank you, Talib Shabazz. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
For sure.
Vi, the country commentator in the building. Mama's coming.
Mama's
Happy
coming.
early birthday, too. Happy early
Thank you, my brother.
birthday.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah. Are you cleaning? Is the house clean?
Oh, Mo, Bree took care of that. House is. I told Bree, I said, my mama gonna know something, but this house is spotless.
Yeah, it better be. All right, y'all. With that, let's take a break, and we'll go into Tonya B with the tea. Appreciate y'all again, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right.
82.
Hey, what's up? This is the G Podcast listeners. How you doing? We want to keep bringing you awesome content without any of the annoying ads interrupting the flow. If you enjoy what you hear, consider contributing to our podcast by giving as little as $1 or whatever you can spare. Head over to our website at castropolis.net. That's CASTROPOLIS.net to show your support. Thank you for being amazing listeners and for helping us keep This Is the G Podcast virtually ad-free. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more fun and friendly conversations on This Is the G Podcast. Thanks again.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tonya B.
Yes, 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 my people. It's your girl, Tonya B, giving you this GT right here on This Is the G Podcast. You know how we do it. Each and every Sunday, live and direct. Like, subscribe, share, go to the YouTube channel, go to the Instagram. We get it in every day. And with that said, here we go, Tommy B. Here are your entertainment news headlines for this week. Still losing people each and every day. This week already, we've lost the comedian Bob Newhart, Joe Jellybean Bryant, not Jellybean Johnson, Jellybean Bryant, the dad of the late Kobe Bryant. He was an amazing coach and player in the U.S. and in Italy. He taught Kobe everything he knew, and Kobe took that and raised the bar sky high. We also lost the exercise guru Richard Simmons with his tight pants. He had them tight pants on. Remember the little tight poom shorts before we knew that they were poom shorts, and his curly afro and his rhinestone shirt. He died one day after his 76th birthday. I hope the documentary and other things he had in the works will come, and we'll get to know what really happened to Richard Simmons. Well, Dumb Donkey of the Week, Irv Gotti, tried to throw Ashanti under the bus when she fell in love with Nelly, telling all the business when they had their affair, and now karma has come for him. He had another affair with a woman during the pandemic and through the end of 2022. Mind you, he's still married and disrespecting his wife and making a very poor example for his children. Now, she claims that she was subject to sex abuse by this man that was so intense she had to go into a psychiatric ward, and it all happened down in the ATL. Irv don't respect women. Probably doesn't respect himself, but this woman wants millions. And now Nelly and Ashanti, happy, married, baby due any day, and I hear there's a bidding war for their reality show. It's being filmed in St. Louis, so it'll be interesting how he changed his ways and settled down. The two look very much in love. They got the baby, and I wonder how their careers are going to go, so I'll give that a look-see. Let's go to the legal department. Katherine Jackson has lost her lawsuit against Michael's estate. The judge said she waited too long to oppose the sale of half, not all, half of his catalog, which is worth billions. I just hope she can enjoy her life and her kids don't try to come and take what money Michael left for his mother. Again, here we go with the Prince estate. Now, his siblings do not know anything about managing an estate, so the people that are in place are going to stay there. But Netflix, I'm hearing, Tommy B, has been working on a documentary on Prince, 9 hours long. That might seem long, but if you chop it up in, over 2 or 3 nights, but hey, we watched, 8-9 hours of R. Kelly, and then they had R. Kelly, the continuation, so I'm down with 9 hours. But the estate is saying that this documentary is too long, but more so, it is riddled with inaccuracies, and that's what they don't like. But I'm hearing the estate's happy because this project is dead in the water. But, if you're going to tell it, just tell the truth. Enough lies out there about everything. Woo! Okay, another dumb donkey this week. Let's talk about former NFL legend Lawrence Taylor. He's now not being known for his football career, but he's known for being a registered sex offender. Yes, he got arrested again. He's had a lot of years of struggling with alcohol and other substances, but he became a sex offender when he messed around with a 16-year-old in 2011, and that is a felony. Salt and Pepper got kicked off this Southwest Airlines flight. She says they treated her like a criminal, and she is suing for discrimination. She had a really bad accident in 2018 where she has to keep her leg elevated and extended, so she bought 2 tickets on Southwest Airlines for $2,500. I didn't quite get that one. I could see American or Delta, but anyway, it is what it is. But she was flying, and she said they treated her like a criminal. A man came and sat next to her, and she paid for the seat, and it was just a big old mess. Remember this date, Tommy B? October, listen, I'm getting all up in it. Wait, August 10th. Tim Reed, who we know as Venus Flytrap from WKRP in Cincinnati, or in the 90s he played the father of Tia and Tamara Mallory in Sister Sister. He is directing The Rise and Fall of Miss Cleo on Lifetime. Remember that? Call me now. That fake Jamaican accent. She wasn't a psychic. She was a single mom who needed money. The feds came, Psychic Network threw her under the bus, and she died from cancer. Now, Lady of Rage, who had one hit in the 90s, Rough and Stuff with My Afro Puffs, is going to portray Miss Cleo. Now, what's going on with Brendan Casey from Jagged Edge? For the second time in less than a year, he's had a horrific car crash. He had another one last week. He was in the ICU again at a local Atlanta hospital. Got some issues he got to deal with, but you can afford an Uber or a driver. Why are you out there about trying to kill yourself and other people, Brandon? I don't get. Child, he got a broken neck, a fractured skull, broken ribs, and head wounds. We wish him all the best, but he got to get it together, baby. And want to say congratulations to New York's legendary Apollo Theater. They will be one of the recipients of the 2025 Kennedy Center Honors. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. Check us out, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget the Birdwire on demand, Castropolis.net, 24/7. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Tonya B. You know I'm always asking for input and feedback, so here's one I received for the week.
You know, we have all watched Donald Trump's admiration for Putin, period. We have all watched him stack the Supreme Court in his favor, period. We can see how that has turned in his favor, period. And if we allow him to win, then where does the tyranny end? I mean, it's clear he wants to be a dictator. He admires Putin, and we're all in trouble. And Constitution be damned, because everybody's making their own rules now.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I love your feedback. We love them. We love them all. Go to Castropolis.net and leave us a voicemail, and we'll play back some of the best. Don't forget, y'all, support us. Subscribe at This Is the G Podcast on YouTube. Go to Castropolis.net and click the embedded YouTube video on the homepage and simply subscribe. Thank you, TikTok. Our TikTok support has been great. Follow us at This Is the G Podcast. Got to do the whole thing at This Is the G Podcast. Don't forget to help us remain operating with minimal interruptions. Give at Castropolis.net. Again, you can give at Castropolis.net. And with that, y'all, episode 230 is in the can. Have a great week, everybody. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to This Is the G Podcast. And This Is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.